In 1981, President Ronald Reagan, a friend of Israel, announced his intention to sell AWACS aircraft outfitted with advanced military technology to Saudi Arabia. The decision was troubling, as the Saudis had mobilized aircraft against Israel in the 1967 war and had provided troop support to the Syrians in the Yom Kippur War.
AIPAC board decided that this was something that we would oppose, and we mobilized to do everything that we could.
We were shocked that the president was able to turn so many people who had expressed support for our position.
Well, I want to express my gratitude to the members of the United States Senate for their approval of the sale of the AWACS defense system to Saudi Arabia.
We lost the AWACS battle, but in losing the AWACS battle, we learned what we had to do to be more effective. We needed to reach Montana and Wyoming just as much as Connecticut and New York. We needed to become more bipartisan, and we needed to become more of a grassroots organization.
Bob Asher grew up in Chicago in a Zionist family and became a successful entrepreneur. His love for Israel and the arts led him to found the country's Matan Music Festival and later the renowned Israel Arts and Science Academy. After these successes, Bob was looking for his next project. Knowing his passion for Israel, a friend made a suggestion.
And he said, get involved politically. And I said, how? And he said, AIPAC.
Bob Asher didn't just join AIPAC. Along with the core group, he became instrumental as AIPAC president in transforming the organization into a national force for pro-Israel advocacy.
We had the dream of what AIPAC might become. And the thing about Bob was he was politically street smart. He was determined, hardworking, plenty of energy, and we came to the realization that the battle for Israel's survival in the long run would be in Washington.
Bob Asher, through his action, through his leadership, through his creativity, really helped to create the template that we use today to advance the U.S.-Israel relationship.
It was Bob that also spurred the growth of AIPAC outside of Washington, as well as encouraged more and more individuals to get involved politically.
It's really nice to see so many people I know and so many people I don't know.
He's someone who never stops thinking about Israel from the time he wakes up until the time he goes to sleep. And his love of AIPAC is something that is really legend.
Bob made a personal commitment all these years back to do whatever it takes to build relationships with members of Congress that matter. He's built them over years, and they're sustained, and he's still at it.
I first met Bob Asher when I was a staffer for Congressman John Porter. He was a leading pro-Israel activist and a big heavyweight in the world of a small congressional office. Right now, I am attracted as a practical Midwesterner to someone who doesn't give flowery speeches, but gets it done.
Well, here's the thing.
It's a very Chicago-oriented way of thinking, and I like it.
Hi, Bill. It's Bob Asher. How are you?
Bob has a genuine feeling for people, a feeling for reaching out and offering whatever he can, and to him, it's a pleasure.
Mr. Chairman, how are you?
When it comes to Israel, his commitment is total. I found him to be a good friend, and I really mean that.
He's a shining example to all of us of what a relationship between a lay AIPAC leader and a member of Congress should be.
The groundwork laid by Bob Asher ensured that AIPAC's activists were never on the periphery again. Today, those relationships with leaders are critical.
Today is as frightening a time as I can remember. And that's why it's so much more important today for people to make their voices heard, for people to really do something. Something else. Mary Jane and I decided that we would make a bequest to the AIPAC Tomorrow campaign so that financial resources would be available for the future of AIPAC.
I think that a legacy gift is one of the few opportunities you have to do something that goes beyond you.
I commit to AIPAC now as the essential organization to keep the U.S.-Israel relationship strong. There is nothing more fulfilling for me than to be part of something that is bigger than I am. That's something that makes life worthwhile.